All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a story that's happening literally right under our feet. It's a tale about a huge paradox, an incredible partnership, and a process that, believe it or not, helps feed the entire world. So just take a deep breath for a second. Go on. You might think you just inhaled a lungful of oxygen, but actually, most of it was nitrogen. Our atmosphere is this massive, invisible ocean of nitrogen gas. It makes up about 78% of the air all around us. And that brings us to a giant paradox. For a plant, nitrogen is everything. It's a critical building block for life, kind of like protein is for us. But here's the catch. Even though they are swimming in it, most plants can't use the nitrogen in the air at all. It's the ultimate irony, like being stranded in the middle of the ocean and dying of thirst. But nature is incredibly smart. Over millions of years, it came up with this elegant solution. And it's not about fighting for resources, it's about working together. It's a powerful partnership called symbiotic nitrogen fixation. So, this unlikely team-up has two main characters. Let's get to know the players and figure out what kind of deal they're making. On one side of the table, we've got the host plant, legumes. You know these guys. Peas, beans, soybeans, alfalfa. And on the other side, we have our specialist, a tiny soil bacterium called Rhizobium. These two are about to make a deal that will completely change the plant's life. And here it is, laid out plain and simple, their symbiotic contract. And it's a perfect trade, really. The plant provides a safe place to live and a steady supply of food, carbohydrates. In return, the bacteria does something the plant is desperate for. It takes that useless nitrogen from the air and turns it into plant food. Okay, but think about it. The soil isn't just empty space. It's a bustling, crowded city of microorganisms. So how in the world do these two tiny partners find each other in all that chaos? Well, it all kicks off with a very specific chemical conversation. When a legume plant is getting really hungry for nitrogen, its roots start sending out a chemical signal, kind of like a flare, by releasing these things called flavonoids. The right kind of Rhizobium bacteria nearby can pick up on this signal. And when they do, they send a signal back, a molecule that basically says, hey, I heard you, I'm the one you're looking for, and I'm ready to get to work. And these return signals are called nod factors. Now, these are absolutely crucial. Think of them as a secret key that fits a very specific, very special lock on the plant's root. Once the plant gets this key, it knows it's found the perfect partner and the real project can finally get started. So, the secret handshake is complete. Now the plant kicks off this massive construction project. It's literally going to build a brand new factory right there on its roots, and we call this factory a nodule. Now, this isn't some hostile takeover. It's more like a VIP entrance. The nod factors make the plant's root hairs curl up and gently trap the bacteria. Then, the plant actually builds a special tunnel, called an infection thread, to personally escort the bacteria safely deep inside the root, delivering them right where they need to go. The factory's built, the workers are inside, so let's peek behind the curtain and watch the main event. The moment this incredible partnership finally turns thin air into actual food. Once they're safely inside the plant cells, the Rhizobium bacteria go through this incredible makeover. They completely change their shape and become what we call bacteroids. They're now highly specialized nitrogen-fixing machines, and each one gets its own little protective bubble made by the plant. And of course, none of this is happening by chance. It's all orchestrated by specific genes inside the bacteria. The nod genes were the ones that started that chemical conversation. And now, the NIF and FIX genes get switched on to build and run the actual machinery, the crucial enzyme that's going to get this whole job done. But there's a huge problem. The enzyme at the very heart of this factory, the one doing all the work, is called nitrogenase. And it has a major weakness, an Achilles heel. It gets instantly destroyed by oxygen. So now you have another paradox, right? The bacteria need oxygen to live, to breathe, and to power this whole energy-guzzling process. But that very same oxygen will wreck the tools they need to do their job. So how does the plant solve this impossible puzzle? Well, the solution is a brilliant molecule called leg hemoglobin. And if that name sounds a lot like the hemoglobin that carries oxygen in our blood, that's because it does a very similar job. It grabs onto oxygen, acting like a buffer. It keeps the amount of free oxygen super low enough to protect that fragile enzyme, but still delivering just enough for the bacteria to survive. And this, right here, just shows you how deep this partnership goes. Leg hemoglobin is a total joint venture. The plant makes the protein part, the globin, while the bacteria makes the critical iron-containing part, the heme. Neither one of them can make it alone. It's the ultimate team effort. And when they put those two parts together, they create this oxygen-wrangling molecule that, because of its iron, gives healthy, hardworking root nodules a really distinct pink color. So if you ever see that, you know the factory is open and running at full capacity. So, with the factory built and the environment inside perfectly under control, the main event can finally get started. Okay, here we go. Safely shielded from all that dangerous oxygen, the nitrogenase enzyme finally gets to work. It grabs that useless nitrogen gas, N2, right out of the air, and through some amazing chemistry, it cracks it open and turns it into ammonia, NH3. This is a form of nitrogen the plant can finally use. But the job's not quite done. See, a big buildup of ammonia is actually toxic, so the plant doesn't waste a second. It immediately converts the ammonia into safe, useful molecules like amino acids. These are the fundamental building blocks of life, and they get shipped out from the nodule factory to the rest of the plant, giving it all the food it needs to grow strong. So, from a faint, chemical whisper in the dark soil to a bustling, pink-colored factory humming away inside a root, this ancient alliance is a cornerstone of our planet's fertility. It's an incredible reminder that the most important collaborations are often the ones we can't even see. The next time you see a field of soybeans or a pea plant in a garden, you'll know the secret story that's happening just beneath the surface.